Hey guys, it's RJG Gaming here. We're gonna be doing something very different again. It's a what if tale from my favorite series, Dragon Ball. I'm gonna be diving into what if Vegito never defused. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Goku arrived with one single motive, to fuse with his longtime rival Vegeta. Vegeta was adamant to fuse with Goku, with the circumstances fitting as Majin Buu approaches. Vegeta was letting his pride blind him. Vegeta engaged Majin Buu with his Super Saiyan powers. Goku joined his longtime rival in a losing battle. Majin Buu welcomes his new opponents. The fight ends the same way it started, on their knees. Goku still tries to convince Vegeta to put the Patara on and tells him the risks that come along with him declining his fusion. But Vegeta declines and shows Goku how much he has fallen since his last fight. Goku snaps at Vegeta, telling him to wake up and realize what he's fighting for, his loved ones, even Bulma. Vegeta hesitates at first, but finally comes around to Goku's point of view. The two powerful Saiyans fuse into a blackhead Saiyan with godly levels of strength. Alright! The fusion would confront Majin Buu and ultimately defeat him. Vegito gets bored of breaking down Majin Buu, so he gives him 10 seconds to do something. Go eat sweets, say a few prayers, or attack him if he chooses to. What will be the fate of Majin Buu? Will Vegito finish this fight, or will Majin Buu find a loophole? Find out now on Dragon Ball Z! Vegito looks down at his foe with a fed up stare. He raises his 10 fingers to Majin Buu. Obviously unsure of what Vegito's up to, he hesitates a bit. Vegito begins to count down from 10. Majin Buu quickly thinks of a plan. That's it, his head tentacle. It's on the ground, wiggling like a worm. He must have a plan to absorb Vegito. Vegito reaches the number 8. Buu gets into a fighting stance, trying to keep Vegito's eyes on him, making sure he doesn't realize what's really going on. But Vegito knows. This is his plan. If he can trick Majin Buu to absorb him, he can go into his stomach and save his friends. The head tentacle crawls around the ground and up to where Vegito is. Sweat rolls down Majin Buu's head. Vegito continues his countdown, reaching the number 3. Majin Buu stares at Vegito as the head tentacle grows larger in size. That's right, just lay right there, Majin Buu says to himself. Vegito finishes his countdown. Soon as he does though, the massive head tentacle latches onto Vegito. Vegito puts his shield up, just in the nick of time. The pink blob covers Vegito entirely. The Majin Buu grins with pride and joy as the pink substance joins onto Majin Buu's body. Vegito is released from his pink cocoon prison. Vegito looks at his new surroundings and thinks to himself, this next action will change the outcome from the original Dragon Ball history. Should he lower the shield down or keep it on? He assumes that being inside Majin Buu's body would be naturally smelly. Luckily the shield blocks the aromas from getting into his nose. Vegito hears Majin Buu's laughing and quotes how annoying his laughing is as he blocks his ears with his fingers. Vegito is determined to find his friends and somehow find a way out of Majin Buu's body. Vegito takes off through Majin Buu's body as he looks for his friends. Sooner than later, Vegito finds his friends in pink-like cocoons. Vegito cringes in disgust. Vegito approaches the cocoons and proceeds to rip the roots from the pink pods, freeing each one of them. Majin Buu feels his power drop with each pink pod removed from his body. He returns to his Super Buu form. Majin Buu wonders what's going on with his body and power. Why has he lost his great power? Then he realizes it's that pesky fusion. He had a weird feeling that he wasn't absorbed properly. Vegito with his friends in both hands spots a fat Buu wrapped inside a pink pod. He quotes that this is the one that was eaten after being transformed into junk food. Not far from Vegito's location, a pink ooze materializes from the floor of Majin Buu's stomach. Majin Buu replies to Vegito's comment, saying that this Majin Buu was a special exception and there were no others absorbed in such a way. Majin Buu gets a little angry that Vegito had the audacity to remove his pink cocoons. Vegito lifts his right hand at the wall of Majin Buu's body and taunts his enemy to bring it. He'll just rip a big hole in his body. Majin Buu returns his taunts. Vegito fires a ki blast at the wall. It tears a hole through Majin Buu's stomach into the outside world. The ki blast looks microscopic from outside of Majin Buu's body. With a shocked expression, Vegito is confused that his attack did very little. Buu even goes further as to say that he might have a better chance at his powered down state. Vegito grabs Fat Buu's cocoon and smiles at his enemy, claiming that he might have to replace his opponent's strength even further. Majin Buu enters into a massive panic and tells Vegito to stop what he's doing. Vegito smiles and finds this situation very interesting. Majin Buu continues his plead and yells to Vegito that he won't be himself if he removes that cocoon. Vegito rips the strings off completely from the pink pod. Super Buu drops to the ground in agonizing pain. Vegito realizes it's time to go. He grabs his friends and rushes off. Vegito rushes upwards to Majin Buu's chest and spots a blowhole where the steam is coming out. Vegito enters the blowhole and escapes back into normal reality. Vegito puts his friends down in a safe place. Majin Buu grows larger as the steam surrounds his body. Once he's done with that, he realizes that Majin Buu's power has gone up, but not as much as he absorbed Gohan. Majin Buu's appearance changes suddenly. Vegito feels his energy drop. Luckily, he's less dangerous now. Soon as Vegito says that, Kid Buu lets out a powerful roar that catches Vegito by surprise. The evil demon that was just born aims towards the ground. His hand lights up with pink energy as he prepares to destroy the planet. He sends a average-sized blast towards the ground. Vegito, clearly not having any of this happen, charges up a blast of his own and fires it at the confronting blast. Buu's blast is deflected thanks to Vegito's intervention. Sweat rolls down Vegito's forehead, realizing that blast could have destroyed the planet. This new threat seems even more crazy than anything he has faced before. Kid Buu grins at Vegito. Kid Buu raises his hand to the sky and charges up a large spear of energy that looks like it can do a better job than the last. Vegito, realizing how dire the situation is, rushes towards Kid Buu. Vegito puts his hands back and forms a final Kamehameha. He uses instant transmission to appear in front of Kid Buu. Kid Buu is shocked at the sight of Vegito. Vegito fires the final Kamehameha point blank at Kid Buu, disintegrating his large energy ball in the process. The smoke clears, Kid Buu is melted, and is clearly rattled by the final Kamehameha. Vegito sends a bone-rattling uppercut punch right into Buu's stomach. Vegito yells as Kid Buu is pushed back by the Super Saiyan Fusion's aura. Kid Buu stumbles back. The demon finally knows what true fear is. Finally understanding all the deceased innocent soul's feelings when he attacked them long ago. Kid Buu ignores the feeling and tries to attack Vegito while he's powering up, but the intense electricity snaps at him. Vegito lets out a powerful roar as the aura grows larger and larger. Kid Buu is pushed back by Vegito's aura. Vegito smiles and puts his arms out as electricity flows through him. Vegito transforms into Super Saiyan 2. Without a second to waste, Vegito fires 20 strong ki blasts that disintegrate Majin Buu forever. Vegito returns to his base form with a sigh of relief. The Kais congratulate him from the Kais planet. Trunks, Goten, Piccolo, and Gohan are finally awake from the terrible absorption of Majin Buu. Thanks to Dende healing them up, everyone thanks Dende for healing them. Piccolo still has something in his mind. What are they going to do about Buu? Then a voice cuts them off. It's Vegito's voice. They don't see Goku or Vegeta like usual. This catches them off guard. Vegito replies with an awkward smile with his hands on his hips. Vegito quickly changes the subject and asks Dende a question if they can use the Dragon Balls. Dende replies, they can, but they won't be active until another 4 months. A few months later, the balls are gathered, and Dende activated them early. All those who died in Majin Buu's hands was undone. The one thing that wasn't undone was Vegito's family drama. On Kami's lookout, Vegito meets his family. 2 families, to be honest. Vegito explained that Goku and Vegito are one. He is neither Goku or Vegito. He is Vegito. Vegito also states that he was born 4 months ago in a fight with Majin Buu. Trunks doesn't believe for a second that Vegito is his biological father. Vegito reassures Trunks that he loves him as much as Vegeta did. Vegito has love for both families. Bulma and Chi-Chi both glare at each other, until Chi-Chi's expression changes that of sadness. Bulma is shocked at Chi-Chi's sudden expression. Chi-Chi tells Bulma that she won't steal her husband because his husband left a long time ago, which is really sad in my opinion. Bulma reassures Chi-Chi, but she asks one thing of Vegeta to do. Would he promise to come visit them and be a good father for Goten? Vegeta obviously obliges. 2 years later, Vegeta yawns and feels like he wants to do some training. He's stuck doing chores for Chi-Chi. He remembers that Kaioshin Kai promised him something. Vegito puts 2 fingers on his forehead and sneakily instant transmissions away from the planet. Vegito appears right in the path of Kaioshin Kai. The 2 fusions both bump their heads and fall to the ground with a thud. Kaioshin Kai questions what on earth Vegito is doing here. Vegito awkwardly smiles and rubs his head, and tells Kaioshin Kai that he wants to learn the Kai teleportation technique. Kaioshin Kai is stunned and seemingly forgotten about the promise he made to Vegito. Either way, the training session is underway. It only takes a few days for Vegito to learn the Kai. It seems that Kaioshin Kai has something very serious to tell Vegito. The atmosphere becomes serious. Kaioshin Kai tells Vegito that his heart's not pure, and if he continues to put the universe at stake just because he wants to find a challenge, he's gonna lose everyone that he loves. So be careful, Vegito. It's been 4 years since the last threat our heroes had to face. But now, a new threat emerges from the universe to defeat our heroes and destroy the peace that Vegito worked so hard for. 2 robbers are at a bank and are attempting to kill a young lady. The big crook holds the young lady at gunpoint. He threatens the police to stay away or the lady gets it. The cops hide behind a police car for cover. One of the policemen looks shocked and turns his head to have a look at the robbers. He sees them trying to flee. Looks like as if they fear someone. Perhaps the Great Saiyan Man? A figure lands on the ground. It almost looks like the Great Saiyan Man, but something's not right. The figure smiles. It's Vegito! He lands on top of the police car that's full of bullet holes. Vegito puts a thumbs up at the cops and teleports away from the surprised cops. Vegito appears right in front of the crooks and gives them a stern look. The crooks give the same reaction as the cops have while viewing the God Warrior. The crooks know they can't win, so they think of a strategy that might help them. They lay down their arms and put their arms to the sky. Vegito is taken by surprise. One of the crooks jumps at Vegito. Vegito moves at supersonic speed and appears right in front of the fat robber and softly karate chops his neck. The skinny warrior shoots at the God Warrior as soon as he appears. The bullets miss and Vegito sends a soft punch across the robber's face. Vegito's cocky attitude changes to despair that nothing can ever match him in strength. The young lady is shocked and quickly looks around for her mummy. Vegito teleports to the nearest roof of a very tall building. Someone is there to greet him. It's the Great Saiyan Man. Vegito questions Gohan why he's wearing such a goofy costume. Gohan smiles and does his heroic pose. Vegito facepalms and moves on with what he's going to say. He asks Gohan if he would like to spar. He's been so bored that no one can ever match him in skill. Gohan feels a sweat go down his forehead. He declines Vegito's offer to fight. Vegito questions why he keeps avoiding his request to spar. Gohan gulps and tells Vegito that he's scared that he might kill him if he ever got serious. Vegito walks to Gohan and puts his hand on his shoulder. Vegito promises that he won't get serious or careless during their sparring battles. Gohan feels uneasy. Vegito then furthers his case, saying if he doesn't get serious in fighting, he's going to lose everyone he loves. Imagine a time where Vegito isn't around. What's going to happen then? Is Gohan going to let his wife die? Gohan is surprised and agrees to everything Vegito is saying. The next few months, Gohan and Trunks and Goten train. Gohan spars with Vegito, even matching Vegito's power as a Super Saiyan. 2 months later, Trunks is running down the many halls of the Capsule Corporation. Trunks runs into a giant silver door that has the words, Gravity Room. Trunks opens the door to see Bulma fixing the Gravity Room. Both Vegito and Bulma wave to Trunks. Trunks questions what Bulma is doing. Bulma is making a machine which will increase the gravity by 12,000 Gs. Vegito smiles and asks Trunks when Bulma is finished with her science stuff if he would like to train under the 12,000 Gs. Trunks' eyes widen and he declines Vegito's offer. Trunks leaves the room. Few hours pass and the machine is done. Vegito is seen training under the intense 10,000 Gs. He moves so fast in his base form that the gravity has no effect to him. Vegito turns the machine up to 12,000 Gs. The effects of the gravity machine washes over the room and Vegito. Vegito grins and sweats. This is what he's been waiting for. Vegito lets out a powerful yell as he turns Super Saiyan. The whole gravity room shakes with intense pressure. Bulma falls to the ground while questioning what the hell Vegito is doing. Vegito immediately stops what he's doing and realizes he has to do something for Chi-Chi. Vegito stops the gravity machine and teleports out of Capsule Corporation. Vegito appears right in front of Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi bumps into him. Vegito catches her and does a Goku wave. Chi-Chi is shocked and asks Vegito where he has been for all of this time. Vegito tries to explain, but is cut off by Chi-Chi telling him to do some work. Vegito reluctantly does the farm work. Vegito is clearly bored of it. Vegito continues his chores and the farming work. Goten arrives with the food that Chi-Chi made for him. Vegito thanks Goten for the meal and eats it with pleasure in his voice. Once finished, Vegito powers up to his Super Saiyan form and begins to train on the farming land. Goten watches with amazement in his eyes. Goten even asks if he could train with Vegito. Vegito is taken by surprise of what Goten asked and agrees as they both train together. Hours later into sunset, a strange famous car that bears the face of Hercule appears over the hill. Both Vegito and Goten question who this is. Until the car drives over the hill, they realize it's Mr. Hercule. Once the car reaches Vegito and Goten, Hercule gets out of the car with a suitcase full of money in his hand and greets Vegito and Goten. Hercule offers Vegito 10 million zenny, but Vegito obviously declines, but reconsiders thanks to Goten's statement. Hercule waves goodbye and the car leaves into the sunset. Vegito puts his hand on Goten's shoulder and teleports him to Chi-Chi's house. A few minutes in, Chi-Chi is impressed with the money brought in by Vegito and lets him train on King Kai's planet. One day later, Vegito is dragging huge weights across the ground. These heavy weights cause tread marks across King Kai's planet. Vegito stops what he's doing and hears something interesting cross his ears. Beerus the Destroyer, Vegito hears. Vegito hears this and appears over King Kai's shoulder. He questions who this Beerus the Destroyer is. King Kai is surprised by the appearance of Vegito. King Kai tries to brush this off, but then Vegito remembers something. He remembers who Beerus is. Vegito crosses his arms with a serious look on his face. Vegito's serious expression suddenly changes to that of excitement. Vegito finally gets a proper challenge since the defeat of Majin Buu. A loud thud near Vegito and King Kai occurs. The smoke clears. Two figures show through the clearing smoke. It's Beerus and Whis. King Kai is shocked and petrified. He quickly rushes over to greet the two gods. Vegito glares at Whis. He realizes he can't feel their energy. Beerus yawns. Vegito's eyes widen with shock. Beerus glares at Vegito. Vegito feels a sweat roll down his forehead. Beerus explains that he's not here to see King Kai, but to see that Saiyan right there. King Kai asks Vegito to step forward. Vegito introduces himself to Beerus and Whis. Beerus asks Vegito if he knows anything about the Super Saiyan God, but Vegito says he doesn't know anything about the Super Saiyan God, but he can show you the Super Saiyan transformations. Beerus accepts and they get into position. Vegito shows off his Super Saiyan to Beerus. Beerus isn't even phased, but does quote that this form is the one that defeated Frieza. Vegito smiles as electricity surrounds his body. Vegito powers up to Super Saiyan 2. Beerus seems a little surprised, but it's not enough to satisfy him yet. Vegito rushes at Beerus. Beerus sees this coming and throws a punch at him. Vegito disappears and reappears above Beerus. Beerus notices that this Saiyan is quite fast. Even Whis agrees. Vegito tries to punch Beerus' head, but is blocked by Beerus crossing his arms to block. Vegito is shocked that Beerus is actually moving now, but at least he knows that Beerus is moving to avoid his attacks. Beerus spin kicks Vegito right in the face. Vegito hits the ground with such force. Vegito gets up while rubbing his head. He realizes that Beerus is far stronger than he thought. Suddenly Beerus moves at astonishing speeds even Vegito can't keep up with. Beerus appears right in front of Vegito with his hand inches away from his forehead. Vegito's eyes widen as Beerus flicks his forehead. The force sends him flying into a tree. Vegito rebounds off the tree and punches Beerus in the face, attempting to kick him as well. Beerus blocks the blow. Beerus then proceeds to grab Vegito's leg and spins him around like a merry-go-round and tosses him into the air. Vegito stops mid-air and uses his continuous energy bullet on Beerus. Beerus smiles and deflects the blast back at Vegito. Vegito is shocked and dumbfounded that his continuous energy bullet was avoided with ease. The smoke clears and Beerus is gone. Vegito questions where he went. Vegito receives a kick to the back. Vegito was sent flying across the skies of King Kai's planet. Beerus teleports above Vegito and sledgehammers him to the ground. The ground erupts with Vegito's impact. Beerus lands on the ground to observe Vegito's state. Vegito gets up with a massive overconfident grin. Beerus grins back at Vegito and asks him if he has a plan of attack. Vegito answers with 3 words: Super Saiyan 3. Vegito slouches over and grins his teeth as sparks of electricity surrounds Vegito's body. Vegito begins to yell as the yellow aura grows larger and larger. King Kai's planet begins to shake as King Kai himself runs into his house for protection. Whis sees the great potential in this fused Saiyan. Vegito stretches himself out as his hair grows longer and longer. Vegito lets out a powerful roar that stretches his jaw out. He opens his arms out wide as his aura extends. Super Saiyan 3's electricity grows larger and larger as it sends sparks across King Kai's planet. Beerus smiles as he finally sees a strong warrior in his eyes. Vegito in his new Super Saiyan 3 form rushes at Beerus with incredible speed, which catches Beerus off guard. Vegito punches Beerus in the head and kicks him in the stomach. This sends Beerus flying into the sky. Vegito puts his right arm up and charges up a Spirit Excalibur. This yellow blade comes down upon Beerus. Beerus' eyes widen as he sees this coming. His eyes widen even more. Vegito wonders why his Spirit Excalibur stopped moving. Whis interferes in Vegito's train of thought and says that Beerus caught this massive attack with just 1 finger. Beerus teleports behind Vegito and prepares to chop his neck. Vegito looks around dumbfounded. Beerus hits Vegito with little force on his neck, which knocks him out of Super Saiyan 3. Vegito falls unconscious and drops to the ground, descends to the floor, and tells Whis that they're going to planet Earth to find out about the Super Saiyan God. Beerus and Whis leave for Earth. What will become of Vegito? Find out in the next episode.
Is that all you got? I'll give you a chance. Give up.